What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and bringing another little nugget to add to the Soul Tribe archive. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the moon in Aquarius in the third house. And I like this placement for the moon. I think this is neat. With the moon, one of the luminaries. The nature of the moon, she's how we feel. This is a very personal placement in the chart. This is how we like to be taken care of and how we nourish the body. But yeah, there's the moon, I like to think as where you have the sun that's fueling the body, the rising or the ascendant that is the container of the soul. The moon is how we disseminate the message between soul and body. How those things that keep us feeling good and keep us feeling that take care of the body and the soul. The moon's very important placement, and one that you would want to know where you have a good birth time on that, so that you can kind of lock in. If you can't lock in by degree, if you at least know the day and the moon doesn't change signs, you can pretty much say, like, if you know the moon was just in Aquarius, cool. But if the moon was going between Aquarius and Pisces, then we might get a little trickiness there. So that's just something to keep in mind. But then when you talk about Aquarius, they're ruled by Saturn traditionally, and they are the fixed air sign, masculine in nature. And I like to think of Aquarius as the visionaries, being that they do have that original Saturnian rulership. I think that Aquarius has a great way of taking the thoughts and holding that vision. And one of my biggest things with Aquarius, if they can hold it in their head, they can hold it in their hand. I think that they give form to thought, and that's where that Saturn comes in, because you keep that dream, you keep showing up and being in that energy, that you become that. And that's where you can even get into, like, Aquarius is like where it gets tied in with the future in things. That's why I think Aquarius is one, again, that just like sees things differently than other people can see. He has a foresight that's unmatched. It's really cool, and very, very, I think, very social sign, very friendly sign of that Aquarius is as well. Networkers. They're related to the star card, and I like to think of them too as, the stars always connecting to make the constellation. So Aquarius is those things that's just kind of bringing people together. It's really cool. And then you talk about the third house. This is in traditional astrology, this was known as the house of the goddess. And this is where the moon finds her joy in. And I like to think when a planet is in its joy, it's just able to express all of its nature the best in this house here. And this is a busy house. The house of the goddess here is one of the Caden houses, but it can deal with your siblings. If you happen to have siblings, this could be with your relatives. This could be about your friends, your neighborhood, your immediate environment, short travels or journeys. This can be about media. This can cover there's even a divinatory aspect to the third house. Dreams are even covered in here. But transportation, this could be about your writing, your language, your speech can even be embodied in this. These are just going to be some kind of basic things to think about there. But a couple of things when you're working with this placement. One, you'd have a Sag rising by whole sign, but you're going to want to see where Saturn's at, because Saturn's going to be in control of this house and your second house, your money house. So you definitely want to have eyes on to see what Saturn's doing. But the moon is going to be in control of your eighth house, which is going to be the shared resources, inheritances, things along those lines. So those aspects are going to flow to the moon house. So one thing that I would talk about with this person is definitely if you have any siblings, what is that relationship like? Because again, Aquarius is I think, a social sign, and having that fixed sign, I think it's making sure that you do have those solid relationships. And it's not to say, like, let's say if maybe the moon is having some harsh aspects, maybe there's some tension there. There may be a need to, how are you working through that? Maybe there's a boundary thing that's happening, maybe a respect thing or something. It's just like, how do you reconcile this? Do we keep these people at arm's length? Do we have some sort of like agreement? However that's looking, just if there's some tension there. But I would think that there would be an importance there. At least the moon would feel good there, knowing that there is this relationship with the family, the relatives, staying in touch with your, cousins, uncles, aunts, things along those lines. Just to have that sense of there's nothing like that sense of family and even that sense of community. Get to know your neighbors if you don't know them, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just make it a point to just say hey. I knew a person who, wherever they lived, they just made it a point to just introduce themselves around to the place, because you just never know what happens. They ended up getting their keys locked out, and then one of the people they happen to know let him stay over there, and so he's not just sitting out in the hallway while things were getting resolved there. So that's just kind of nice, and you get to, yeah, something nice about having that sense of a community. I think that the moon in Aquarius would be really good at, I think, pulling people together too. Just on a sidebar, this could be something where if you wanted to make some sort of like profession out of this, maybe you happen to run for a local office, you notice the change that the community is wanting, and you can bring about that, help bring the community vision to prosper here. I think doing some kind of like neighborhood work would be just really kind of nice too. Some sort of like volunteer stuff I think would be beneficial for the third house there. And I would think too, if you ever find yourself maybe kind of stuck in your head, or maybe there's some tensions in the family or something along those lines, or maybe with friends, that taking little short travels and things to clear your head, to get into your mind, to gain get a different perspective, could maybe be something that could be very, very beneficial for you. And yeah, like, how are your friends doing too? Do you keep in touch with the friends that you grew up with? You don't have to keep again in touch with all of them, but do you have those connections with people that you can just communicate with, so that you have that bond just to kind of lean on something? Again, there's like knowing that there are people that have your back and that you have theirs. There's something really nice about that. And when you need that sense, if you ever come across needing some kind of help or anything along those lines. I also think too that this placement would benefit from looking into some sort of like dream work or things along those lines, understanding your whatever visions that you might be receiving, or if you have any sort of like ideas in things, to figure out how to make those come to fruition there with that. Again, I think there's a lot of potential in that house, because this house can also deal with like mercantile activity. So maybe you're dealing with like sales and things like that. So that's another thing to consider. There's something else that I wanted to mention with this. Oh, and if this is not just about keeping up, because maybe you happen to live in an area where there's not so many people around you, then maybe this could be about, because again, they can cover media, so having like some sort of like online community, maybe even a couple groups that you're involved in, talking about different topics and things, seeing what different forms of thoughts that are going on out there, because I think Aquarius too has a great way of picking up and holding the vision of the collective, I think, and to be able to put that thing out there, or maybe even talk to the person who can make some things happen there. There's a real sort of entrepreneurial sort of energy here, I think, that could potentially pop up with the moon being here. But these are just some rough examples of how this could, some of the things that I would talk about with a person like this if they had this placement. And of course you need the whole chart to get a clear picture on this, but I would love to hear if you have this placement or know someone who's working with this placement, because I can see this as a chatty one. Moon in the third house. But if you know someone or have this placement, down in the comment section, tell us how you're working with this placement, what that's been looking like for you. And if you're wanting to work more with these placements, get more familiar, kind of tap into, get some different perspectives and things, and really grow with your energy, down in the description box is a link for how to get in touch with me. We will talk about the services that I provide, and then get the right one for you. So there's also too, I do weekly videos on this channel talking about the different transits and how to work with the set intentions, and how to work with what's upcoming for you, get you thinking about what areas of your chart to kind of look at, and okay, like these covers this theme and this theme. So we got all this all this Pisces energy right now, so this would be a lot of stuff going on in your fourth house. So there's some, how's home looking, depending on when you're watching this. But, oh, and last thing, since we're talking about the moon, if you want to work with the moon more personally, there is a link for my other channel, The Charity and Friends, where I talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void of course, and do a little tarot reading. And I'm actually throwing in a neat little add-on there that you hopefully will like there. So if you want to come check that out, that's available for you. But until next time, keep raising that vibration through the roof. Stay mindful out there, and I will catch you on the next one later.